All right, let's get right into it. Starting in 2025, Nigeria's entire tax system is getting a massive overhaul. We're talking about a single, unified law that's going to change pretty much everything, from how you file your taxes to how the government makes sure you do. So let's break down exactly what this means for you.
And look, these changes are coming for absolutely everyone. We're talking individuals, small businesses, big corporations, you name it. So the question really isn't if this is going to affect you, it's how. Are you actually prepared for what's coming down the pipeline?
So what's the big idea here? What's behind this new tax playbook? Well, for years, Nigeria's tax system has been, let's say, a bit of a patchwork of different laws and regulations. The government's goal is to tear all that down and replace it with one single, streamlined procedure. One country, one set of rules. Simple as that. And you don't just have to take my word for it. This quote, straight from the legislation itself, really gets to the heart of the why. Think of it like a two-sided coin. On one side, the goal is to make it a whole lot easier for you, the taxpayer, to comply. But on the other side, it's about making it way more effective for the government to collect that revenue. This whole overhaul is built on those two ideas, simplicity and efficiency. Okay, so that's the big picture. Now let's zoom in on what really matters, your personal responsibilities. What does this new system actually require from you? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of your core obligations. It really boils down to three fundamental things you have to do. First, and this is a big one, getting a taxpayer identification number, or a TIN, is now mandatory. No more excuses. Second, you absolutely must keep accurate and complete records of your finances. And third, filing your tax returns on time is completely non-negotiable. And speaking of filing on time, you're going to want to pay close attention to this. Here are the key deadlines you absolutely need to know. For existing companies, you've got 6 months after your financial year wraps up. For individuals, it's a simple annual filing. And for any business that deals with that, your return is due by the 21st of the next month. You might want to go ahead and mark those calendars now. You know, one of the biggest headaches with any tax system is ambiguity, right? Those gray areas. Well, this new legislation tries to tackle that head on by creating crystal clear definitions for what is, and just as importantly, what isn't subject to certain taxes like VAT. For example, the term baby products isn't vague anymore. The law gets super specific. It explicitly lists things like diapers, feeding bottles, baby clothes, even car seats as being VAT exempt. That level of detail just removes all the guesswork for both shoppers and the people selling the products. And they're bringing that same level of clarity to the medical field. The law now draws this really sharp line between medical equipment, think of big diagnostic machines, and medical products like a syringe or a medical implant. Now, why does that matter? Because they can be taxed differently, and now everyone knows exactly which is which. And here's a really critical clarification that's going to affect a lot of businesses. While most healthcare services are exempt, the law makes it a point to say that cosmetology, spa treatments, and gym services do not fall under that medical services umbrella. That is a key detail for anyone in the wellness industry. Okay, so you have new rules, but rules are only as good as the enforcement, right? So let's shift gears and look at the expanded powers the tax authorities now have to make sure everyone is actually playing by this new playbook. The tax authorities' reach is getting way bigger. I mean, they now have the power to get full access to physical places, like buildings, but also, and this is crucial in the digital age, all your digital records, even the stuff you have stored in the cloud. They can investigate, demand any information they want, and even bring in third-party collectors to chase down overdue tax debts. And that brings us to one of their most powerful tools, a word you need to know: distraint. So what is it? Well, to put it simply, this gives them the full legal authority to seize your assets, your property, your goods, whatever, to cover an unpaid tax bill. It is a serious measure that just goes to show how much the government is focusing on enforcement now. So we've seen the new powers. Now for the part everyone wants to know about. What are the financial consequences if you don't comply? Let's take a look at the new administrative penalties, because trust me, they are significant.
Yeah, this is the question every single taxpayer needs to be asking themselves. With a much more robust system being put in place, what are the real, actual costs of falling behind or just ignoring your obligations? Let's start with the very basics, just filing your returns. If you miss that deadline by just 1 month, you get hit with an immediate penalty of 100,000 naira. And that's just for starters. The cost just keeps going up for every extra month you're late.
Now, for all of the businesses out there, this next one is huge. If you're supposed to withhold tax from a payment, like from an employee's salary or a contractor's fee, and you just don't, the penalty is a staggering 40% of the amount you were supposed to withhold. 40%!
The new law also takes any kind of interference very, very seriously. If you obstruct a tax officer who's just trying to do their job, you are looking at a hefty administrative penalty of 1 million naira. And that's before any potential criminal charges. The message could not be any clearer. Compliance is not optional.
All right, finally, let's look at how this whole new tax regime is built for the 21st century economy. Because this isn't just about updating old rules. It's really about writing a brand new chapter for technology, for digital services, and for virtual assets. For the first time ever, Nigerian tax law now officially recognizes and defines what a virtual asset service provider, or VASP, is. This is a complete game changer. It's bringing cryptocurrency exchanges and other digital asset businesses squarely into the formal tax system. And with that official recognition comes a whole new set of responsibilities. VASPs now have to register for tax purposes. They have to report large or suspicious transactions. They have to verify their customers' identities. And they have to provide regular reports on customer transactions to the authorities. This is a massive regulatory step right into the heart of the digital economy. So, as we wrap all this up, we're kind of left with one final question. This new system, it's designed to be more efficient, more digital, and way clearer than ever before. But is the ultimate goal here to create a future of greater transparency for everyone, or does this all signal a new era of much, much tougher enforcement? The answer is probably a bit of both, and Nigeria's taxpayers